a three-time undisputed champion, the first ever in the 2, 3, or 4 belt era, and you became the second undisputed champion in 3 weight classes when there was only one champion back in 1938 with Henry Armstrong. That's a lot of stuff.
You hear that? You hear that?
Which do you think means
all
the most?
And all of it. It all goes hand in hand.
Can you describe what it all means to you to have? You just made like a whole resume of stuff tonight.
It means a lot to me because, you know, anybody can be a nobody. Like I said, you know, and that's all they say I've been fighting is nobodies. So what can they say now? Somebody tell me, what can you say now?
You can say congratulations.
That's it. What can you say? Any words?
Thanks.
I bet you did. Well, the first 3 rounds, you know, I felt like I was in control. You know, I think he was trying to figure me out.
Did you feel that you were frustrating him? He tried to lift you up. He headbutted you. Were you sensing that you were frustrating him?
Of course. You know, he was a little frustrated.
Andre Ward
in there,
has a
but
gift for cutting through hype and hitting the heart of a matchup. His point that both Canelo and Crawford are puncher boxers is key. These are not defensive runners or reckless brawlers. Both men mix craft with power, strategy with stubbornness. That stubborn streak Ward mentioned could be the deciding factor. Neither man wants to concede that the other is better. Ward also highlighted a truth about Canelo's resume. Yes, he has losses, but outside of the Mayweather fight, he's never been dismantled. That durability and confidence will carry into every exchange. Crawford, on the other hand, has never been truly beaten. That unbroken aura can push a fighter to another level when the stakes are highest. The way Ward frames it, this fight was destined to deliver drama. It's not just about styles or skills, it's about pride. And when pride collides in the ring, fans get something unforgettable.
I look at Terence Crawford as a puncher boxer. I look at Canelo Alvarez as a puncher boxer, not the other way around. If they move, it's either to rest or get in position to do what they really want to do. Start a fight and land a punch that's going to change the course of the night. So I can't just say that Terence is going to outbox him. We know what he's going to do. I don't know. You got to do. Both of these fighters are extremely stubborn, and you cannot be great for any extended period of time and not have that stubbornness about you. Even though Canelo Alvarez has some blemishes on his record, there's a perfectly good reason for each one, the draws and the losses. So he's been outclassed by Mayweather, but he's never been beat up and shut out and stopped. So his confidence and stubbornness is at an all-time high. The same can be said about Terence Crawford, and that's why I feel like, given the weight disparity, given their mentality, this fight is in a class by itself, and I just think that we're going to have high-level boxing because every punch is going to matter, because Terence does not want to lose to Canelo Alvarez and vice versa, but they're going to stand their ground at some point in time. Canelo wants to prove that I am the bigger man, and Crawford doesn't appreciate being called the smaller man, which is why you saw him press up on Canelo at the press conference to send a subtle, not so subtle message that you're not as big as everybody's saying you are. So I think it's going to be a great fight that's going to stand alone.
Gomez's words bring a very different angle to the conversation. He's not just talking about punches, footwork, or speed. He's framing the fight as a clash of energy. In his eyes, Crawford is fighting with a deeper connection to family, nature, and purpose. Meanwhile, Canelo, though massively successful, is described as more of a product of commercialization. What's interesting is that Gomez still predicted a Canelo win. That contradiction shows how torn even experienced fighters are about this matchup. They see Crawford's raw energy and spiritual connection as powerful. But Canelo's proven track record and status make it hard to bet against him. This take adds another layer to the narrative. Boxing isn't just about physical skill. It's also about inner drive, connection, and what fuels a fighter's spirit.
So, going back to your, I'm just going back to my predictions of why I've been predicting these victories. Because it is going beyond us. This is energetic, this is cosmic, this is divine. And in this case, with Canelo and Crawford, I believe from what I've seen, Crawford is more in tune with his divinity. He is more, just closer to what we can call somebody that is more in tune with God and his family and nature, etc. I'm sure he consumes meat. I'm sure he swears. I'm sure he's not woke, but just more leaning towards, because Canelo, for years, he's just been commercialized. You know, not only his name, he has believed this. So in his mind, in his essence, Canelo, in everything, he's commercialized himself. He's a product, basically. And good for him. In a way, he is doing what he wanted to do. I predict that I think Canelo is going to win.
Here Gomez doubles down. Crawford has the potential to shock Canelo in ways we've never seen before. The idea of Crawford dropping Canelo would be historic, considering Canelo's reputation for toughness and durability. But Gomez tempers his prediction by pointing to the judges. He foresees a close fight, with Canelo edging it on the scorecards, even if Crawford has the flashier moments. That's the type of tension fans live for. One fighter might deliver the highlight, while the other still walks away with the win. This commentary reflects boxing's complicated nature. Sometimes the result isn't about one huge moment, but about how the fight is judged round by round.
But I predict that Crawford is going to stunt him, drop him, something like that nobody has ever done. That's what I predict. That in itself could make Crawford get a split decision or a majority decision, but I see Canelo winning on a split decision, majority decision, because it's going to be a close fight, and Crawford is going to stunt him or do something like that. That's what I.
This is one of the most insightful breakdowns of Crawford's evolution. Gomez points out the difference between a great fighter and a master. It's not about throwing harder punches, it's about efficiency. Smaller movements, sharper timing, smarter positioning. Crawford has reached that stage where everything looks effortless, even in the heat of battle. The mention of energy from the arena is also fascinating. Fighters feed off the crowd in ways most people don't understand. Gomez suggests that Crawford has learned to channel that energy into power and precision. That could be the X factor in a fight where every tiny detail matters.
I think he's better. Yeah, I think he has fine-tuned his style. Obviously, he's faster on his movements, and not a faster. What happens is that when you become a master, you can punch somebody in 1 inch and drop him, compared to somebody that has to do that. So fine-tuning into a master doesn't mean that you actually punch harder or nothing. It's just that everything's just he doesn't have to do this to block. He can just do this and he blocks a punch, right? He's just in another level. I believe that. From when I fought him, he was more wide, more open, more chaotic. He wasn't so fine-tuned. But also, I believe that his mind, everybody's energy is beautiful. The energy that they shoot him is the best. His own mind, everything that he sees around him that he has created is so powerful that brings him that energy. All the people that surround the arena. It's powerful. It's a lot of power.
Smith's prediction leaned toward Crawford, not because of size or power, but because of timing. He believes Crawford's speed and ring intelligence can offset the weight disadvantage. More importantly, he frames this fight as a chance for Crawford to announce himself to the world. Crawford has already proven himself to hardcore boxing fans. But this stage is bigger than any before. With Netflix pushing the fight to millions, the potential for a breakout moment is enormous. Smith sees it as Crawford's opportunity to go from being respected to being universally recognized as one of the sport's greats.
I like Crawford in the fight. I just think, yes, he's coming up in weight. Yes, it's a huge jump, but I think he's got the speed, the IQ, and the skills to give Canelo a really tough night. I mean, obviously, the weight difference and the strength of Canelo, and Canelo is a superstar, and I just wonder if it's the right time for Crawford. He's never had that coming out fight. Yes, he beat Errol Spence. Yes, he beat Porter. Yes, he's looked fantastic at times. 4-division champion or whatever he is, and he's unbeaten, but this is on Netflix. This is a huge audience, and I just think I just got a feeling this is Terence Crawford's coming out party.
This builds on Smith's earlier take. Canelo's experience is undeniable, but Smith questions whether it's still enough. The key phrase is every second of every round. Against a fighter like Canelo, one lapse in focus can cost everything, but Smith believes Crawford has the discipline to stay sharp from bell to bell. By saying, "It might be Crawford's time," Smith taps into the sense of destiny surrounding this fight. Great fighters often have one defining night when everything comes together. Smith suggests this could be Crawford's moment.
Look, Canelo will be favoured from many because he's been there, done it, but he's had nearly 70 fights, and I just wonder, looking at the Skull fight, that I just think it might be Crawford's time. I think it's going to be very, very tough, and I think that he's got to keep switched on every second of every minute. But I think Terence Crawford's the sort of guy that can do that, and yeah, it's Crawford for me.
Atlas's loyalty to his first instinct is telling. While many doubted the matchup, citing the size difference, he saw something in Crawford from the very beginning. That kind of conviction matters, especially coming from someone who has trained world champions and analyzed fights for decades. For Atlas, it's not about hype, it's about what his experience tells him. And his experience tells him Crawford has what it takes.
Listen, before this fight was made and when it was only vaguely proposed, where a lot of people poo-pooed it. No, Crawford's too small, forget about it, doesn't make sense. When it was going through those times, I didn't hesitate. I said Crawford. I'm not changing now.
Atlas highlighted the spectacle outside the ring, with UFC's Dana White stepping into boxing promotion alongside Turki Alashik. The event has a crossover appeal unlike most fights. The scale of this promotion shows just how important this fight is. It's more than a title bout, it's a global event. The energy around the promotion adds pressure to the fighters, but also guarantees that the world will be watching.
Listen, both guys have gotten older. I don't know. I hope it's not. And I'll put the disclaimer out there first. I'm not poo-poo, I'm not raining on anyone's parade. I think it's a very interesting fight, and I hope it's a great fight. And they're making it so big. They're really bringing everything out for this fight. You know, Dana White, his first involvement in boxing, in a promotion of a fight like this. I know he's involved with Walsh, the Irish kid, but I mean, his first really foray with boxing in this kind of way and level with Turki Alashik, and they're not holding anything back. I mean, they're putting everything into this.
This is a fair warning from Atlas. Timing is everything in boxing. Fans want to see fighters meet at their peaks. While both Canelo and Crawford are still elite, Atlas raises the possibility that some might later feel it happened a little late. Still, his overall tone is optimistic. Unlike Mayweather, Pacquiao, which dragged out negotiations, this fight feels better timed. The anticipation is sky high, and the styles promise action.
I remember how excited everyone was for the Mayweather fight with Pacquiao. As it turned out, it was 5 years too late. It didn't happen when probably it should have, to really give us a chance to really have a great fight. And people were very disappointed. And I'm hoping that don't happen, and I don't think it will. But there's a chance that people might say at the end of the day, if they're not as satisfied, whether it's the Canelo side or the Crawford side, that, hey, this should have maybe happened a little earlier. Put that aside for now. That's me, because I always gonna tell you everything I feel, whether you like it or not. But I'm gonna allow my experience to scour the canvas and look at everything, all aspects, and put it out there. I don't care if I'm working a fight now. It's not going to stop me from saying what I believe. At the end of the day, I think it's going to be it is an interesting fight. I think it could be a hell of a fight, but we'll see.
This technical breakdown shows Atlas at his best. He recognizes Canelo's evolution into a more efficient counterpuncher, but points out that his lower activity rate could backfire. Against a mobile, sharp fighter like Crawford, every second of inactivity is a chance to lose control of the round. The key will be distance. If Crawford wins the battle on the outside with his jab and legs, Canelo will struggle to close the gap. That makes the fight a chess match with very real physical consequences.
When I handicap this fight, I look at it where has each guy changed? What's their strengths, what their weaknesses? Canelo is not as busy as he used to be. Now, in some ways, it served him like a fine wine getting better. You know, he picks his spots, he counter punches, you know, he carries good power, he's accurate, you know, he doesn't waste anything. That's a nice thing. I don't know if that nice thing will serve him with Crawford, who's moving up in weight, who's faster, who can maneuver, use his legs. I know he's 37, but he's not used up. He doesn't have a lot of miles on the odometer, Crawford. So I'm looking for my synopsis of it. My overview would be I'm looking for Crawford to win the outside. Use his length. I know he's still got good length on him. Use his length, use his legs a little bit, grab the canvas. He's not going to run, but just control space, get angles, be ready to punch. Don't allow Canelo to freely walk in. And where I think he gets served.
Atlas's conclusion ties everything together. The size and power advantage only matter if Canelo is throwing punches in volume. If his slower feet and lower output keep him from getting into position, then Crawford has the tools to pick him apart from the outside. This is the classic boxing equation. Power versus activity, size versus speed, experience versus hunger. The suspense lies in which equation will hold true on fight night.
Why did he lose to Mayweather a long time ago? I know it was a million years ago. I know! But it wasn't because his hands were too slow, his feet were too slow. He couldn't close the gaps fast enough. And I think he's going to have a problem in that same area. If I'm right, if Crawford maximizes the things that favor him. Speed, legs, IQ, length, using the jab to control that length. I can see where Canelo could have trouble getting close enough. I also see that again. He's not busy like he used to be. Yeah, he's accurate. Yeah, he'll go to the body. He'll look to throw that left hook to the liver. That's one of his famous punches. That's a punch that makes sense against a smaller man that can take the legs away from a smaller man. But I don't know if he'll get in position to do it. Crawford's going to try not to let him get in position to do it and win the battle on the outside. And again, not have to deal with a lot of activity offensively from Canelo because he's not that active offensively like he was some years ago. So that's going to help Crawford. Yeah, everyone says, oh, he's the big, Canelo's the bigger guy, he's the more powerful guy. Okay, fine. But if he's not throwing the bigger, more powerful punches in large quantities, then he's not as dangerous as you think he is. Because he's got to throw them. He's got to land them. But he's got to throw them to have a chance to land them, to be dangerous, to be the bigger guy. And if he's throwing a lot less than he used to, he's not as dangerous as you make it in your head because he's the bigger guy. That's how I break it down.
Fight week is finally here, and everything we've heard, from the fighters themselves to legends like Andre Ward, Alfonso Gomez, Adam Smith, and Teddy Atlas, paints this as one of the most important clashes in modern boxing. Canelo Alvarez brings size, power, and the experience of nearly 70 fights. Terence Crawford brings speed, IQ, precision, and the hunger to shock the world. This isn't just about belts. It's about pride, legacy, and the right to be called the best of this generation. One punch, one moment, could flip the story in an instant. Who do you think takes it? The seasoned powerhouse in Canelo, or the relentless, unbeaten technician in Crawford? Share your predictions in the comments, and get ready, because history is about to be written inside the ring.
We knew Crawford is a great fight, and I just cannot no figure out the style. Me siento muy...
I can't even know the number of years it's been since you've been without a world title. Has it sunk in yet that for the first time in all that time you're not a world champion?
No, I feel a champion, no matter what. You know, I win no matter what, and I still feel a champion. So it is what it is. You need to take the loss and accept everything. But I'm gonna continue. Do it. No, I never thought that. I always try. All the rounds I try, but you need to accept it, right? Sometimes you cannot go, and I try all the rounds. I never think about that because imagine. So I cannot think in that way, but I try my best tonight.
You became a 5-division world champion. You became the 3rd of 4 division lineal champion with Mayweather and Pacquiao. You became a 3-time undisputed champion, the first ever in the 2, 3, or 4 belt era. And you became the 2nd undisputed champion in 3 weight classes when there was only 1 champion back in 1938 with Henry Armstrong. That's a lot of stuff.
You hear that? You hear that?
Which do you think means
All
the
of
most?
it.
And
All of it. It all goes hand in hand.
can you describe what it all means to you to have? You just made like a whole resume of stuff tonight.
It means a lot to me because, you know, anybody can be a nobody. Like I said, you know, and that's all they say I've been fighting is nobodies. So what can they say now? Somebody tell me, what can you say now?
And say congratulations.
That's it. What can you say? Any words?